From the campus of the University of Connecticut, it's our Thursday tip-off presented by Buick. Tonight at Gamble Pavilion, an American Conference clash between UCF and defending national champion UConn. Hi, everyone. Alongside former Villanova coach Steve Lapis, I'm Andrew Catalan. There's a sense of urgency here at UConn. Right now, the Huskies are not a tournament team, and Kevin Ollie said if his team wants to be happy on Selection Sunday, it needs to start tonight. How did they do that, Coach?
Well, they've been really good defensively all season, but they've struggled to score. But Kevin Ollie wants them to pick up the pressure and force more turnovers so they can get some easy baskets. It really starts with them tonight, and they're playing against a team with young guards. He wants the pressure here now.
Speaking of those young guards, let's take a look at our AT&T Fast Analysis.
Well, for UCF, B.J. Taylor is having an unbelievable freshman year. He had 33 points in a game against Tulane. He can take the ball off the dribble. He's also a very good free throw shooter and gets to the foul line. And for UConn, Ryan Boatwright, spectacular last season, slowed up a little bit lately with a contusion in his thigh. 19 for his last 53. Kevin Ollie needs him to get going tonight.
Can the defending champs get back on track? It needs to start tonight. The Knights and Huskies coming up on CBS Sports Network. Moments away from tip-off at Gamble Pavilion between UCF and UConn. Let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups, and the Knights' top two scorers are both freshmen, B.J. Taylor and Adonis Enriquez. And for UConn, this is the same lineup Saturday in the loss at Stanford. Omar Calhoun will start, and Rodney Purvis will come off the bench. Third member of our team tonight is John Rothstein. Good evening, John.
Andrew, it's a real home field tonight for UConn because this is the first time since December 5th that they're playing a game here at Gamble Pavilion. They won't play back-to-back home games until March. It truly is an arduous road ahead for the Huskies.
This building opened in 1990, and UConn has won 85% of their games at Gamble Pavilion. A very tough environment. UCF, a young team, coach. They'll be tested in this atmosphere tonight.
And whenever you go on the road, the thing that tests you is what your ability to handle the ball. And this UCF team does turn it over because of their youth. Are they going to be able to put up with the pressure in this building? We'll see.
That was one of the top keys that head coach Donnie Jones told us. Got to keep the turnovers down. They average 13 per game. Fans on their feet until the first UConn field goal. Boatwright uses a screen, drives to the hoop, and a whistle before the shot. And it's a foul on the floor against UCF.
And that's not going to be an easy challenge for UCF. Ryan Boatwright, one of the best players in the nation at going off the dribble, and you have a UCF team that has two freshmen and a sophomore as their three perimeter defenders. Going to be an interesting night for them.
Foul was on Justin McBride. That's one of the things Kevin Ollie told us today, as Calhoun from three is good. Good way to start for UConn, but they want to try to get to the free throw line more.
Yeah, they've only been taking almost 12 free throws a game. I know when I was coaching against UConn many years ago, they always got to the foul line a lot.
Enriquez off the mark, and now Boatwright wants to push. Calhoun, another three. Not this time, and Wilson going for the rebound, had to go off his leg. It'll be UConn basketball.
I will say this, Ryan Boatwright busted that ball up the floor. UCF did a great job of transition that time, locating people, which is what you have to do. You got to keep the pace of this game. Even though they like to score, they don't want UConn getting out in transition.
The freshman Hamilton down low to Brima. Timeout, Central Florida. Donnie Jones wasting no time. That was too easy for the Huskies.
Yeah, that was way too easy. What happened was there was a little bit of a too much of a hedge on that screen and roll, and you're going to see it right here. Okay, we can run it from there. You run it there, and now you watch. Stop it right there. This McBride stays too long, and that's how Brima ends up being all by himself up at the rim. You need to hedge pick and rolls, but when you got a 7-foot guy behind you, you got to get a little bit of help from the weak side. Otherwise, they're going to just throw that thing up in the air.
McBride is 6'10", 325. He's got good feet, but he's not quick. And Amita Brima is 100 pounds less than McBride.
And this pressure here, UConn has not been pressing much. This is from the old days. We used to work so much against Jim Calhoun's teams against full court pressure. They're pulling it out because they need to get easy baskets. Their defense is good. They struggle to score in the half court.
Hamilton active defensively, but Taylor's able to recover.
Ryan Boatwright doing a great job of trying to keep Goodwin out of the middle of the floor.
Wilson inside. Brima tried to alter his shot, but it goes down, and UCF is on the board. Wilson averaging 6 points per game. The senior out of Northport, Florida.
Little zone for UCF now, 2-3 zone. I'm not surprised because I know they are worried about defending this UConn team off the dribble.
Boatwright floater, no, and McBride is able to clear. Boatwright got a hand on that one and a turnover.
Well, he's a steal machine, one of the best defenders actually in the country when it comes to stealing the ball.
Tremendous defense in that NCAA tournament run last year. Calhoun for three. It's good. His second triple of this half, and it's 8-2 UConn. Huskies had a season-high 10 made threes against Stanford. They've now hit 12 of their last 23 three-point field goals. Nine to shoot for UCF. Goodwin straight on. Over to Taylor. Deep three. Money. Wow. B.J. Taylor just 23% in conference play shooting from deep, but he knocks his first attempt down tonight.
He's obviously very confident, but that wasn't a real good contest, I felt, by the UConn defenders. You know this kid's averaging 15 a game, and his numbers for the year are pretty good from three. You got to get on him a little harder.
Facey turnaround jumper. B.J. Taylor, the American Conference Rookie of the Week for the third time this year. He'll take another shot. This time it will not go down. McBride is blocked by Brima. Brima averages 2.5 blocks per game, and he's got his first one early tonight. Hamilton from deep. You bet.
They're making us look bad, Andrew. We were talking about them struggling to score, and they're knocking out threes left and right now. That is not what they've been doing.
McBride inside, counted, and the foul. So a big answer by the big man, and he'll go to the line to try to finish off a three-point play. It's amazing what a little confidence will do. Even though UConn lost Saturday at Stanford, 10 threes, a season high. Calhoun got involved. He's already hit a couple here, and they're firing from deep, as you see Kevin Ollie now in his third season. And there is McBride. We spoke with head coach Donnie Jones about him. He's listed at 325. He's actually lost 30 pounds since last year, but Jones told us his conditioning nowhere near where it needs to be. He only averages 13 minutes per game. He's checking out now, and you know, he's been impressive in spurts. He had 13 points in 13 minutes last year against UConn, but he needs to work on that conditioning. It's priority number one. Good hands and good feet. If he can lose that weight between the hands and feet, he can be really good. Terrence Samuels checked in for UConn. Ryan Boatwright on the bench, getting a breather. Purvis into the game as well, lobs it to nobody. Nobody home on that pass from Purvis, and a timeout on the floor. Good start for UConn from deep, and they have a three-point lead.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Buick. 5 expectation-shattering models, another reason to experience the new Buick. By the all-new LG G3. And by AT&T, mobilizing your world.
Back at Gamble Pavilion, our Thursday tip-off presented by Buick. And for UCF, Donnie Jones, the head coach in his 5th season, spent 11 years as an assistant coach at Florida, on back-to-back titles in 2006 and 2007 as a very young team. And he's hoping that this experience that they're getting, and the young guys are getting a lot of it this year, will help them down the road.
And also being in this league is a little tougher, you know, when you're playing against the UConns and the Cincinnatis of the world and the SMUs. So it's going to be a step up recruiting-wise, but he's a very good recruiter, and he learned under one of the best, Billy Donovan.
They made transition from Conference USA to the American, and we asked him, what's one of the biggest changes? And he said, you know what, it's the atmosphere. The venues that we play in is Goodwin. Can't get the roll there. They fight for it. And a fresh 35 now for UCF. And now we have a blocking foul going against the Huskies.
I'm a little surprised so far at how UCF is getting into the lane so easily. The worst thing that you can do defensively is allow people to dribble, penetrate. Then you got to get help. Then you're not in rebounding position. All kinds of things happen. UConn's been very good this year at keeping the ball in front of them. Not so much in this game. Little zone by UConn now. I don't blame them. They've been getting beat off the dribble. I think it's a good move.
Goodwin trying to bust the zone. And Calhoun with the weak shot rebound. Purvis with another turnover. Second time he threw the ball to nobody.
You know, Purvis has been a guy who's been more instant offense off the bench, but he's got to be solid, and that's so important, especially if they're going to play the way they want to play and start getting this offense going.
Transfer from NC State, came off the bench on Saturday against Stanford and played 29 minutes, led the team with 14 points. Boatwright at the scorer's table, along with Sam Cassell Jr. for UConn. They'll check in next whistle. Good atmosphere here at Gamble Pavilion tonight. 8 on the shot clock for the Knights. Taylor, step back 3. And we have a whistle inside, and that's going against Central Florida. It's going to be on Stephon Blair, the junior, his first. And Boatwright back into the game. And, Coach, you mentioned it, but December 31st against Temple, Boatwright with a deep thigh bruise was questionable for the next game against Florida. He did play, so did not miss any time, but it's still bothering him. Kevin Ollie said he's close to 100%, but not there. But you look at his numbers since that thigh bruise, and it's way down.
It's way, way down. I mean, this kid is normally a 45% player like he was last year. This year's been a struggle.
And he's seeing a lot of double teams, and they expected more of those tonight.
I mean, he's not even their high scorer in conference play. Amita Bryman is. That's one of the reasons why they're only 2-2.
Lubin missed the turnaround, and Central Florida still down by 3. Taylor guarded by Cassell Jr. Taylor lost his step, and now Enriquez will reset with 10 to shoot.
I'm a little surprised at how patient they're being. They try to score. They average 70 a game. Not too many teams in the country average 70 a game, but I think that's their game plan.
2 on the shot clock. Blair forces one up, and the rebound down to Rock Lubin.
You know, when you come in a tough environment, it's not bad to try to take the crowd out of the game by playing patiently. They just waited too long on that possession.
UCF has missed 6 of its last 7 shots from the field. Blair ends that streak. Nice move down low.
And another big, strong guy, you know, like McBride. Very good feet and good hands there once again. And now a little bit different look in this zone. More of a 1-2-2, 1-3-1 type look. 1-2-2.
Donnie Jones said he's going to play some crazy defenses tonight to hide some of his defenders.
They've been about 75-25 all year. 75% man, 25 zone. But you know, at this time of year, you start figuring out what you are, and you may go to the zone a little bit more now.
Samuel off the mark. And UCF with the ball down by 1, 7 minutes into the first half. Enriquez corner 3, in and out. Here's Boatwright in transition. Spinning, lost it, turned it over. And now a whistle and a foul against Sam Cassell Jr.
I mean, that is not real Boatwright right there. He's about as good a player in the country when you're backpedaling in terms of being able to attack you and get something done. And good job by Goodwin there in terms of staying in front and then taking the ball from this guy. Boatwright is not used to having somebody pick his pocket like that.
He's 4th in the league in assist-to-turnover ratio at 1.8. What a turnover here by Boatwright. And now a foul on Daniel Hamilton.
That would qualify as a bad foul. When you foul somebody 50 feet from the basket, that's a bad foul. And I don't think Kevin Ollie was real happy with that.
Daquan Walker is checked into the game for Central Florida. He's coming off an 18-point performance on Saturday at Memphis. Enriquez for 3. And a rebound to Hamilton. Hamilton averaging 10 points and close to 6 rebounds in this his freshman season. He'll take a 3 and hit it.
UConn is making a conscious effort of playing much faster tonight. They've only been scoring about 60 points a game. They've been scoring 65 a game and giving up 60. They're trying to make this game much faster and shooting quicker.
UConn already with 4 3-pointers. They average just over 5 per game.
You know what they say, Andrew? There's no place like home. That's when you get right, is at home.
And the students are back, which helps as well. Taylor trying to answer, and he does. B.J. Taylor, as a senior last year at Boone High School in Orlando, he averaged 35 points per game. And he leads the team this year with 15 per night.
He can put it in, there's no doubt.
Deep 3, Boatwright. Oh, it's raining threes here in Stores.
It's unbelievable the way they're shooting the ball. And you know, Kevin Ollie said to me today, he goes, boy, I hope we can make some shots. Well, so far, his dreams are coming true.
Unbelievable. UConn's 5th 3 in the first 9 minutes of this game. Walker drives, counted, and one. Tough move by Daquan Walker, but the threes have been the story early.
Raining threes for the Huskies. Kevin Ollie really happy about that.
UConn by 2 over UCF, and you may have noticed that the UConn coaching staff a little casual in terms of attire tonight, and it's for good reason. Both coaching staffs are wearing sneakers as part of Coaches vs. Cancer Suits and Sneakers Awareness Week. What a tremendous job this initiative has done. Since '93, coaches and their supporters have raised $87 million for the American Cancer Society.
We were always very involved in that, Andrew. There was a certain amount of money that was pledged by Villanova fans when I was there for every 3-point shot we made one season. And we had Eric Evers and Kerry Kittles. They weren't two better 3-point shooters in the entire country. So we were fortunately able to raise a lot of money for cancer. So coaches do a lot of things in terms of the community and raising money.
That's great to see both coaching staffs participating in this. And early on, UConn running out to a 2-point lead, 10:54 to go first half. Walker at the line to try to finish off a 3-point play. The Philadelphia native went to Constitution High School.
Well, Donnie Jones was telling us that Walker is as good as the starter. He could easily be starting. This is our 1-3-1 zone. They've played 3 different zone defenses in this game, and you don't see 1-3-1 get played that often. UConn has to try and hit the corners. The corners are what's weak in that particular defense.
Brima harassed down low, and now he grabs his lower left ankle, and Brima is limping a little bit and appears to be in some pain. Wants to stay out on the court. UConn assistants staring him down, and he's going to gut it out and stay out there.
They've been spreading the floor. As you can see, they've got great spacing, Central Florida. They're making UConn cover the entire court and hoping that UConn will break down towards the end of the shot clock. You can see their game plan is very clear.
Taylor out on the perimeter. Enriquez in and out. Hamilton flying in for the rebound. Purvis to a wide open Castell Jr. and it's no good. He's had a tough time finding his shot this year. Blair, turnaround.
That was not a good shot.
Hamilton, jumper.
Nor was that.
Let's check in with John Rothstein.
Well, guys, we're looking at UConn's lineup right now. They have moved to a 4-guard set with Daniel Hamilton at power forward. That is the type of alignment that they used last year when they went to the Final Four and won a national championship with DeAndre Daniels at power forward. So small ball, definitely this group's best lineup, just like a year ago.
But I will say one thing, DeAndre Daniels was 6'9". Now, he certainly was a stretch four man who could shoot the ball, but he was a pretty big, stretch four in terms of being able to step out. And he was their second leading rebound on the team last year.
Well, Kevin Ollie said that he's just disgusted with his team's toughness. He wants them to fight harder, and that was a concentrated effort at this afternoon shoot-around. He said he's going to play the best guys. He doesn't care what the rotation is, how it looks on the floor. Whoever deserves to be out there is going to be out there.
You know what made Kevin Ollie a little salty? 24 rebounds to 48 for Stanford in that last game. That will make a coach really salty.
Yeah, he said that is not how UConn plays basketball. Calhoun, that is how UConn plays basketball, at least tonight. Another three.
This is unbelievable. If you told Donnie Jones that they were going to be 6 for 10 on their first 3 ones, he'd think he's getting blown out, and he's not.
Offensive foul against Central Florida. That's on Daquan Walker, so take the points off the board. Brima is being attended to on the UConn bench. Earlier you saw him limp a little bit up the floor, so we'll keep an eye on Amita Brima as the training staff works on the big fella. Calhoun. Look out!
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, he set that up so well. Was knocking down threes already with 3 of them. Faked it, drives, and hello, Omar Calhoun. This is where it gets dangerous for a visiting team at Gamble. They need shots to try to quiet the crowd, and Central Florida can't hit. And here come the Huskies. Boatwright over to Hamilton. Back to back. Timeout, UCF. This place is up for grabs right now.
Omar Calhoun going baseline. Somebody's got to cut that baseline off. Once you let a guy go there, there's no help, and he's going to completely just flush it. And then in the other end, they got a little helter-skelter, and a great job by Ryan Boatwright giving that back to the right guy. Good feel for the game. It was a nice finish by Hamilton, but that transition play was made by Ryan Boatwright, knowing who needs to get that ball back.
A 7-0 run in just over a minute for UConn. And they now have opened up an 8-point lead already with 6 threes on the night.
And you know what started? UCF got a little helter-skelter in their offense. They went in transition, they got the charge, and they didn't really know what they wanted to do, lost the ball. That is so dangerous in a visitor's when you're a visitor in a building like this, you cannot get helter-skelter and turn the ball over.
I have a feeling you'll be seeing those dunks for a while longer, both tonight on all the highlight shows and probably here at UConn on the big video board for a while. 2 for the highlight reel.
The boys at Inside College Basketball will be talking about them.
No doubt about that. 7.5 to go in the first. Goodwin.
He's got to make that. UConn with a miscommunication there. Wide open 12-footer.
Calhoun, another 3, not this time. Calhoun leads all scorers with 11 points.
You know, normally down 8 on the road, I'm not going to tell you it's danger time, but if you're a young team, it's danger time.
Walker, strong take. You were talking earlier about how Walker is such a dynamic scorer coming off the bench, and Donnie Jones said, I like having veterans come off the bench. He's a junior. As Boatwright fires in another.
You know, if Central Florida's game plan was to test UConn from the perimeter, I think they need to adjust the plan right now. And that's what happens to coaches. You make a plan, and it's a good plan. But guess what? It's not working tonight because of the way UConn's playing. You got to change up and get out on those three-point shooters.
Boatwright wants to push it up to Purvis. He goes right to the hoop. Count it, and one. The Huskies have opened up a 29-18 lead, firing on all cylinders at Gamble. UConn up 11. Omar Calhoun made his first start of the season Saturday at Stanford. Kevin Ollie decided to start him again tonight. Good move by Kevin Ollie.
I would say pretty good move. I mean, he starts out, got the team going early with his three-point shooting, and then he drives the baseline, and this was a spectacular dunk. So good move by Kevin Ollie. But now you're getting, that's what you want. You need a spark, and he's gotten it.
And he leads all scorers with 11 points as we check in with John Rothstein.
Well, guys, Omar Calhoun was a heralded recruit coming out of high school and had a terrific freshman season, but last year, mostly because of a hip injury, he was the forgotten member on this team's run to a national title, certainly making up for lost time right now with his outside shooting.
Averaged 11 points per game in that freshman year John mentioned, but only 3 points per game last year, and he missed first chunk of this season. This is just his 10th game played. He strained his MCL in the preseason, did not make his debut until the middle of December, but he's starting to heat up, and it comes at a critical time for UConn as they desperately try to make a charge. As we mentioned earlier, this is not a tournament team right now. Their RPI in the low 70s, so certainly not a foregone conclusion, but they very well may need to win the American Conference Tournament, which, by the way, is in Hartford this year.
They have to go on a run, and they have to beat SMU, and they have to beat Cincinnati. They have to get the quality wins, and they got to win a lot of them.
No look pass. Nolan nowhere to go. Back out. Purvis for three. That kind of night for UConn.
I mean, UConn is obviously making everything in sight, but let's understand this. UCF, not a good defensive team, and right now it's really showing.
And a turnover. UConn has already scored 11 points tonight off UCF turnovers. Let's see if they convert here. Boatwright draws the double. He's seen a lot of that this year. Nolan back out to Boatwright. 5.5 to go in the first half. Boatwright finds some room. 6 to shoot. Step back three. Oh my goodness. The 9th three-pointer of this half for UConn.
Now Ryan Boatwright, he can make tough shots, and that was a tough step back at the end of the shot clock. But you know what? If you're going to be a good team, you need a guy who can get something done for you at the end of the clock. Ryan Boatwright, as good as it gets when it comes to that.
It's a 19-2 run for UConn. Blair, physical inside, hits the front of the rim, gets it back, puts it up and in.
Yeah, UCF goes man-to-man. I can't blame him. The zone was getting eaten alive.
Kevin Ollie calling out a play from the UConn sideline. Purvis directing traffic right now. Purvis deep three. A rare miss by the Huskies from deep. Well, defense has plagued UCF throughout the year. They've given up 73 points per game, which is last in the conference.
And again, if you're going to be a good team, anywhere, you need to play better defense in this, and especially on the road when the home team's going to shoot better. That's when your defense has to be at an even higher level, and right now, that's not happening. Now, no doubt UConn's making shots that if they were just shooting them in practice by themselves would be pretty good, but UCF's got to tighten it up if they're going to have a chance in this one.
In Memphis on Saturday, UCF gave up 99 points, lost by 20. They're 2-4 in conference play. McBride turn around and he's fouled. That's going to go on Phil Nolan. That's his second.
That's not good defense. If you're guarding a guy this big and strong, you gotta get in front. Stop it right there. You gotta get around him and get in front of him, and not let him catch the ball. Once he catches it, you're dead. He'll bury you. He's too big and strong. Front him, make them throw it over you, and he's got to make an athletic catch, which he would struggle with.
McBride does a very good job at the free throw line, 75%. He went for a career-high 31 points earlier this year against Bethune-Cookman. He makes them both at the line. It's 36-22. And now we have a whistle. And a technical foul has been called, I believe, on Rock Lubin. It is on the freshman Lubin. Must have said the magic word, Kevin Ollie. Trying to figure out what's going on.
I think he was talking to one of the UCF kids. That's a good call by the official. You know, one thing that the officials, I think, have done a better job of, certainly since when I was a kid, people talked all of it. It was ridiculous. But nowadays, they're not going for that, and I don't blame them. You got to stop that kind of stuff early. And if I'm Kevin Ollie, I'll be honest with you, I'm taking him out.
Hey, he's a freshman.
That's me. Freshman especially, he's out. Anybody's out. I don't care if it was Ryan Boatwright, he'd be out.
And this is a veteran officiating crew, Joe DeRosa, Gary Maxwell, John Gaffney.
And there was no hesitation in that technical foul, so he obviously said something to somebody.
Well, Lubin stays in there. Enriquez 1 of 2 at the line, and it's a 13-point game as we approach 4 minutes to play in the first.
Hey, Kevin Ollie won a national title. I didn't, but I have to take him out.
Boatwright. That was partially deflected and it still goes in.
It's ridiculous now. That was good defense. I mean, he was contested extremely hard on that shot.
UConn has matched its season high for three-pointers made in a game with 10 here in the first half. 30 of their 39 points from deep. Taylor inside for 2 in the foul. Freshman is fearless, but his team has to dig out of a big hole here in Storrs. 3:27 left in the first half, and coming up on AT&T at the half, live from our New York studio, Dana Jacobson, Wally Zerbiak, Seth Davis, and Doug Gottlieb get you caught up on the world of college hoops. Lots to talk about as we take a look at our icy hot injury report, and 4 very talented players out for the year. New Mexico without Cullen Neal, but a big win last night on CBS Sports Network by 2 over UNLV. Well, John Rothstein is standing by with a special guest. Take it away, John.
Well, Andrew, a lot of people wanted to know why UConn is shooting so well, and the answer, they have a good luck charm. Jim Calhoun, the 3-time national championship Hall of Fame coach, is here tonight. And what do you attribute the 10 made three-point shots to for UConn right now, Coach?
Good shooting? No, you know, sometimes you need a team that wants to play with you. And this league right now is defensive-oriented league. And tonight we got a team that scores 74 but gives up 75. Perfect team for us coming back out. Couple tough games for UConn. And they want to get up and down. It's made it a much more attack game for us.
9-7 through 16 games coming into this game tonight. What do you see as the biggest thing that this UConn team needs to improve on moving forward the second half of the season?
Well, the same reason that I think we're starting to have the shots fall, we're attacking. We have always been an offensive attack team, and I think this team is starting to talk about that, realize that, and like any team, they're trying to fill in for Shabazz Napier. It wasn't quite that easy, and I think the guys are trying to attack tonight, and I think that's a good thing.
Thanks as always, Coach. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Nice to have Coach Calhoun and Coach Lapis back in the same building together. Many a battle against each other.
It's been a while since we've been in this building together. Many times in the Hartford Civic Center, too.
Turnover there by Lubin. He dribbled it off his foot. Central Florida trying to chip away at this lead going into the locker room. McBride down low, had it stripped going up. Calhoun, coast to coast. And now up ahead, McBride with the finish. Did not make it back down to the other end, so he was all alone.
Well, put it this way, Andrew. He didn't beat UConn down the floor, in case that's what people thought, that he'd beaten them down the floor. That isn't quite what happened.
That's not what happened.
Not quite what happened. He didn't quite cross half court when the steal was made, and gets an easy one.
Timeout called for by UConn. Well, tomorrow night at 8 Eastern, college hockey highlights prime time as head coach Dave Haxtell leads #2 ranked North Dakota against Colorado College from the Ralph. Only on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Well, 39-28. Let's see if Donnie Jones's club can cut this down to single digits going into the locker room. They've had a rough time in the first half this year in AAC play. Donnie Jones's team a -30 point differential before halftime.
Yeah, and you wonder why that is, you know, and I'm sure as a coach he's trying to change things up, whether it's doing shoot around, not doing. Today they didn't do the shoot around here, they did the shoot around 30 miles away in West Hartford.
Yeah, they held their practice at the University of St. Joseph in West Hartford. Most teams typically day of the game will shoot at the arena where the game is that night, but they decided not to do that.
And most people do a little walk-through, don't go hard. Well, UConn, they went pretty hard today.
Oh, yes, they did. Purvis not able to get that one to drop, and McBride clears.
That looked more like practice than shoot around.
Kevin Holly yelling at his team to be tough. And that was certainly the message in what was really a physical practice this afternoon.
Yeah, after Stanford manhandled him, he was not happy, and I can't blame him.
Wilson knocks down the triple. And there you go. They've got it down to 8.
Well, you know, you look at this. UConn's made 10 threes in less than a half, and UCF's only down 8. So, I mean, it's amazing that they're only down 8. If you told Donnie Jones before the game UConn's going to have 10 threes in the first half, he'd say, uh-oh, I'm going home.
8 straight points for the Knights. Calhoun trying to stop that run. Can't. Short on the shot. They fight for the rebound. Right back out to Boatwright. He goes right back in. Misses the lay-in. .115 to play in the first. Taylor, jumper. That one's off the mark. They wrestled down low. There was a lot of contact. And they get UConn for the foul. It's on Omar Calhoun.
McBride was down there with 2 feet in the lane, and they tried everything they could to get him out of there, but they were trying to push him. But you see him right there, that was not a foul. I have to say, I don't like that call, not one bit.
And UCF will shoot 2 the rest of this half. McBride has looked good at the line, makes the first. It's a 7-point game. Lubin comes out, and Hamilton back in for the Huskies. And McBride knocks him in, and he'll sit the rest of this half as Dylan Carell, the junior out of North Miami Beach, checks into the game. They've really got to monitor McBride's minutes, only averages 13 minutes per game.
And the man-to-man has been better than the zones.
Ten on the shot clock. Hamilton straight away 3. And UCF the rebound, a difference of about 2 seconds between game clock and shot clock. So Donnie Jones holding up his team. And how about this? UCF at the worst appears to be going in the locker room down by 6. That's incredible with the way UConn shot the 3 in this half.
And they need to make sure that they get the last shot of the half. They should run this thing down so far that even if they don't get a shot, just don't let UConn get a shot. Down 6 at halftime, you're in good shape.
Taylor with 4 to shoot. Drive, left hand, no. That was a tough shot. And Boatwright's able to save it. 2 seconds left. Carell steals it, and they don't get a shot off. But again, Central Florida only down by 6.
Young team comes in here. UConn shoots lights out and still only down 6. If they can tighten it up defensively in the second half and not get helter-skelter with the ball in certain circumstances, they could have a shot in this game.
With 5:26 to go in the first half, UConn led by 18 points. It's down to 6 as we send it over to John Rothstein.
Donnie, you told us yesterday that your team was going to have to handle the environment on the road. Why was it so much more effective at that in the last 5 minutes in the first 15?
Well, we just need to calm down. We knew there'd be runs in the game. Obviously, you got a terrific team in UConn that can make threes. And they got in a rhythm. We're trying to switch up defenses, but it's really proud how we got our composure slowed down and got ourselves back into the game.
How do you take away the three-point line in the second half?
Well, we got a mix. We tried to stay out of man because we were worried about Justin McBride and pick and rolls, but we're going to have to mix it up, and we're going to have to get our heels above the three-point line and push them out farther.
Thanks, and good luck in the second half. Andrew?
Thank you.
McBride and Taylor led UCF with 9 points apiece. It's halftime here at Gamble Pavilion. Coming up after the break, it's AT&T at the half. UConn leads by 6. You're watching Thursday Tip-Off on CBS Sports Network, presented by Buick.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Icy Hot Smart Relief TENS Therapy.
Start of the second half in Storrs, Connecticut. UConn with a 39-33 lead. Back courtside with former Villanova coach Steve Lapis. I'm Andrew Catalon. At one point, I thought the route was on. It was an 18-point UConn lead, but credit to Central Florida. They only trail by 6.
And I think the bottom line is it's what Kevin Ollie has talked about. They're not able to put enough pressure on Central Florida to get them out of the game because they made 10 threes, and they're still right there.
Let's take a look at some of those first half numbers, and certainly the 10 threes jump out. Central Florida only with 3. I think it'll be interesting to see how UConn attacks this second half. Do they keep shooting the 3? It'll be something to keep an eye on. But right now we're going to keep an eye on how UConn is getting open looks from deep with the Red Lobsters see the game differently.
Well, one of the best ways to get good three-point shots is by going inside out, and you're going to see Ryan Boatwright feed the ball to Mita Brima on the low block. Now, look at all the eyes of the Central Florida players. They're all looking at Brima, but they don't know what's going on out in the perimeter. But you see Daniel Hamilton outside, wide open, and Brima delivers a pass to him, and this is important, right on the numbers. The quality of the pass also affects the quality of the shot, and that's why Hamilton was able to make that. Inside-out threes, very, very effective way of making three-point shots.
Let's check in with John Rothstein.
Well, Andrew, I just talked to UConn Associate Head Coach Glenn Miller, and he said the big difference in the last 5 minutes of the first half versus the first 15, Central Florida got into the lane and will. That was the biggest thing that was addressed at halftime for the Huskies, keeping Central Florida's guards out of the paint.
UConn did not score over the final 3 minutes and 50 seconds of that first half. They start the second with a 6-point lead, and it's UCF basketball. Enriquez, tough shot. McBride tried to tip it up and in. No. Wilson grabs it out of the air. Shot clock does not reset. Stays at 15. Taylor, right at Brima. And Brima, just with those arms in the air, does a good job of altering that shot.
Yeah, he wasn't taking a 7-footer there.
And a backcourt violation on UConn. That's their 5th turnover of the night.
And you know, Andrew, Central Florida started the game in the first 5 minutes getting in the lane. Then they went 10 minutes not being able to get anything. And then the last 5 minutes getting in the lane again. And they did early in the second half. We've seen them get in there already once.
McBride muscling Brima. That won't go, and Facey clears.
If this kid ever gets in good shape, he can be a really good player. That was a very, very good move, and it looks like he has a pretty good touch.
Facey for 3. It's good. A new season high for UConn. Their 11th made 3 of the night.
And not a guy who's used to scoring a lot of baskets.
Facey only averages 5 points per game. That's his first 3-point attempt of the season. He's 1 for 1. McBride. He's getting around Brima, but has not finished on his last 2 shots. Brima had it stripped away. Good play by Goodwin. Goodwin trying to go coast to coast, and he does. Brandon Goodwin.
You know, I think Brima started the year very well, and he's kind of fallen off a lot lately. Foul issues have hurt him. They're just falling asleep in the post, not realizing somebody's coming from behind him. Got to be a little more alert than that.
That's the biggest problem for Brima, is he can't stay on the floor. Only played 9 minutes against Stanford before fouling out. Hamilton to Brima. Those two hooked up in the first half. They do it again early in the second.
Wasn't that the first play they ran in the first half?
Exactly alike as Goodwin, who did not score in the first half. Now with back-to-back buckets, and Kevin Ollie, not happy with his team, calls a timeout.
Now here's where they were taking advantage of McBride. They set a screen. McBride tries to come out. He just can't get back in time. Right now the Huskies 44-37.
Early timeout by UConn here in the second half. They lead at 44-37 as we revisit our AT&T Fast Analysis, and Ryan Boatwright, 4 of 6 from the floor for 12 points.
Well, he looks like he's got a little bit of his bounce back, but B.J. Taylor starts out the freshman doing a terrific job making shots, and he's even gotten to the basket a couple of times. He's going to be really good. And Ryan Boatwright on fire early on. He's also made a couple 4 for 4 from the three-point line, 4 for 6 from the field for 12 points.
Here are their numbers so far. Boatwright coming off a rough night in Stanford on Saturday when he was just 3 of 12. He's answered the bell so far tonight.
He looks like he's got that bounce back to him. You know, he'd been struggling, as we said, with that thigh injury. He looks like he's got it tonight.
Well, if you're UConn now, Coach, do you keep bombing away from deep, or do you try to get it inside a little bit more?
No, I think they got to start trying to drive. They're playing against a weak defensive team. They got to try and get inside the lane a little bit more. Can't rely on shooting threes when that hasn't been your strength all year. Could be a little bit of fool's gold there.
The theme of the week for Kevin Ollie was toughness and physical play. I think he'd like to see his team be aggressive down low. Just like that.
Yeah, I mean, McBride now starting to get beat in behind that zone there.
They feed McBride right at Brima. Doesn't have the touch so far in this second half. Ball still loose. McBride comes away with it and lays it in.
With the left. I'm telling you, this kid could be a good player. Now, he's got to drop 30 or 40 more, but he has some ability.
Well, he's lost 30 pounds since last year. Well, Donnie Jones said that this offseason, it's a must that he drops a lot more.
He's sucking wind right now, let me tell you.
Dish again, Hamilton to Brima.
Yeah, he's got to come out. I mean, he's just standing there now, not doing anything. And Brima, they're just throwing the ball up in the air. There's not even really any kind of offense there. They're just driving it and throwing it up for lobs.
There are 2 Knights at the scores table, including Stephon Blair, who's likely coming in from McBride, as Taylor can't knock down the jumper, but a foul is called. And it's against McBride.
And I like McBride, but he's barely going to make it to the bench.
McBride is going to get a breather. We're taking one as well. You're watching Thursday Tip-Off presented by Buick. It's a sellout crowd here at Gamble Pavilion, and UConn has a 48-39 lead as we take a look at tonight's Reese's perfect play. Couple to pick from in that first half. We're going with Daniel Hamilton.
No doubt, but Ryan Boatwright does a great job here. First of all, they get the ball up the floor, and he knows exactly when to give it to Daniel Hamilton. That's a guard that's got a great feeling. I know Hamilton made the nice dunk in the finish, but that play was really created by Ryan Boatwright.
What was your view on the dunk on an open floor. Did you like the lay-in? You're all right with your guys threw it down?
Oh, no, throw it down is fine, but I didn't want to see, like, anybody do 360s or do... You want to dunk it, that's fine, but I didn't want to see anything fancy in a situation where nobody was back and now something stupid can happen like you miss it or you're showboating. Just go dunk the ball.
Right.
I didn't want to see anything crazy.
UConn 4 for 4 shooting in the second half. They lead it 48-39. Boatwright for 3. Short on the shot. Wilson quickly to Goodwin. Goodwin showing off his speed, but now does not have numbers and backs it out.
Pretty good job by UConn getting back in transition. And, you know, transition defense, you have to communicate because you got to locate guys on the run.
Eight on the shot clock for the Knights. Blair sets the screen. Goodwin lost it. Brima comes away with it. 2-on-1 for UConn. Boatwright to Facey with the facial. $16 points off turnovers for UConn tonight.
Well, what did Kevin Ollie tell us today, Andrew? What was he looking for? Points off turnovers.
That's been the Achilles heel for Central Florida as well, with the amount of turnovers they've had. Once again, the shot clock at 4. Taylor for 3. And he is fouled on the shot. Boatwright can't believe it. But let's go back to that last play off the turnover. UConn converting once again.
Well, one thing I can tell you is that when Ryan Boatwright's involved in transition, good things seem to happen. He knows who he's supposed to pass the ball to. And the finish is the finish. There's no doubt about it. But this kid really understands the game.
Boatwright averages 4.5 assists per game. That's 3rd in the conference. Tonight he's got 6. But he's called for the foul here, so Taylor shooting 3 at the line. He's 75% on the year. UCF, as Boatwright comes out, is one of 2 teams in the country to have a pair of freshmen as their top 2 scorers. Taylor and Enriquez leading the way. The other team is Binghamton in the America East Conference.
And they're doing pretty good because that's not, you don't really want to I've had it happen to me where I had a freshman leading the way my second year at Manhattan, and it's hard to win when that's the case.
Sam will try to get it to Brima, and a foul down low, and that's going to go on Stephon Blair. Well, here are the fantastic freshmen for UCF, Taylor and Enriquez, the top 2 leading scorers, both averaging double figures. And I know what you're saying, it's hard for freshmen to lead the way, but it doesn't appear that that's UCF's problem. It's more down low, and specifically defense is where they've been hurt this year.
And a lot of times that's where young players really don't understand the game, is defensively.
Hamilton off the glass.
You know, the game in high school doesn't move nearly as quick. You don't have to usually guard 5 guys. Like in college, you got to guard 5 guys. In high school, that doesn't happen very often.
But Enriquez is a natural 2-guard, and he's playing the 3 this year. As Donnie Jones told us, he doesn't really have a true small forward, so they go small, and they give up a lot in the rebounding department, and that's hurt this team. Now, they have some big recruits coming in next year, including a 7'6" recruit. That'll help in rebounding. Another UCF turnover here. Hamilton to Brima. They keep running this play, and now a push on the baseline against UCF.
Well, you know what happens, Andrew, is every time a guard drives and Blair or McBride have to step up at all, they can't get back to Brima in time. So if they leave him for a second, that's when UConn is just throwing the ball up in the air when those guys come towards the dribbler and they're not able to get back because of how slow they are. Both guys got to lose weight.
Blair stays in with 3 fouls. There it is again, lobbing it to Brima, but this one goes out of bounds. No foul called as we go over to John Rothstein.
Well, Andrew, you mentioned that Central Florida has a big recruit coming in. That's right, 7'5" Taco Fall will be coming to the Orlando campus next year. I talked to the staff. I said, how are you going to feed this guy? They said, it's real simple. We're going to send him to Steve Lapis' beach house.
Oh, man. Yeah, well, John likes to eat, and Coach invited him over one time. I think John still has some leftovers from that meal.
Hey, listen, Harriet Lapis has seen a lot of kids eat because we had players over the house, 7-foot guys. They've got nothing on JR. Let me tell you, 7-footers, 6'10". JR, he's every bit as a big eater as any of them ever.
And where did he go today for lunch? Gino's Grill. Gino Auriemma, the women's coach here at UConn, has opened up a restaurant just off campus. John's review was positive.
I was going to go hit Gino for a freebie, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I know. He owes us a couple. Women's team with just 1 loss on the year. Business as usual here at UConn. Taylor, deep 3, straight away, won't go down. Blair got hit in the head. Going for that rebound, and Blair is now slow to get up the floor. Foul on Taylor, but now the concern is with Stephon Blair. And he goes to the bench. McBride back into the game. It was on that rebound that Blair got hit in the head. Another look here, and like he may have bumped heads.
Yeah, because Brima was holding his, I think it was Brima was holding his head too.
Turnover by Terrence Samuel, the sophomore out of Brooklyn. Let's go back to that loose ball rebound again, see if we can see what happened. It looked like the back of Blair's head went into Brima's head. Now McBride again can't finish. McBride again, back up, no good. And he's the last one up the floor. Purvis, floater, no. And then Brima is fouled going up. UCF hanging around, but still a double-digit lead for the defending national champs. .11:53 to go in the second half. UConn by a dozen here at Campbell Pavilion. Huskies trying to get contributions from guys up and down this roster. Rodney Purvis, another one. He's got 6 points.
Well, the transfer from NC State has really helped by giving them some offense, some firepower coming off the bench. He is, in a lot of ways, instant offense.
For more on Purvis, we go over to John Rothstein.
Well, guys, a lot of people expected Rodney Purvis to be Robin Orion Boatwright as Batman for this UConn team, but talking to the staff earlier this week, they really think that Rodney Purvis could excel as a lockdown defender moving forward. We have seen the change in the rotation, him now coming off the bench, Omar Calhoun in the starting lineup for a little bit more offensive pop.
Well, as coach knows, the only way to get through to a guy sometimes is put him on the bench. That is the biggest message you can send to a guy, is to take away his playing time, and I think that's kind of working in Kevin Ollie's favor right now.
The first thing that Rolly Massimino told me in my first day on the job in August of 1984 was, let me tell you something about these guys. They care about one thing. I said, what's that, coach? He said, playing time. He said, if you want to discipline or do something, that's what you do.
Yeah, they can run all the sprints they want in practice, but when
don't play him in the game. Yep.
Brima has scored 7 of his 9 points in this second half, and now he'll take a seat on the bench. Philip Nolan, who's playing in his 66th consecutive game tonight, is back on the floor.
You know what amazing stat in this game, Andrew, is both teams have 8 turnovers. UConn has 16 points off of 8 turnovers. UCF only 2.
And they've not had much in transition tonight, UCF.
McBride wants it.
He's got it, gets rid of it. Enriquez, the triple.
That was a good pass. You know what I like about that pass? He threw it right on the numbers. And I said it before, the quality of the pass affects the quality of the shot. When you throw a guy a good pass, he's got a chance to make the shot and shoot it quickly. That's why Enriquez was able to make that.
And a big bucket for Central Florida. Back within 10, 11 minutes to play. Ten to shoot. Boatwright will set it up for UConn. Trying to stop a 2-game losing streak. Now 3 to shoot. Boatwright, jumper. Doesn't get the roll, and a whistle. And they're going to get UCF inside. That's going to go against Casey Wilson, the senior.
Well, you're going to see this three-point shot. McBride's going to catch the ball in the low post right there. And now watch where he throws it. Hits him right in the numbers. And that's what you want to do. That's a good inside-out pass. And the big guys need to look opposite. That's on the weak side is where guys are open.
Enriquez had missed his first 4 threes of the night. That's his first one to go here in the second half. Already 16 fouls on UCF in this half. So UConn will be shooting the rest of the way.
And they're not a team that fouls a lot, which maybe they should start fouling when they'll play better defense. They don't really foul that much.
Only meeting of the season between these two schools. Huskies swept 2 meetings last year. Boatwright kicked that one. Donnie Jones told us it's a great opportunity in a terrific atmosphere. He wanted to see what his young team was made of coming into Gamble Pavilion, and while they're down by 10, they have continued to fight. They chipped away. They were down as many as 18 in that first half.
I mean, I would call this still hanging around.
No doubt.
And, you know, especially the way the game is nowadays, and they're a good three-point shooting team. They're actually the second best three-point shooting team in the league. So if they start getting rolling from 3.
McBride had it blocked, goes to the ground, still down. Now gets down.
It's going to be 5-on-4 for a while here.
Nolan inside, and he's fouled. Smart move by UConn to know that McBride was late getting down there. They fed Nolan inside.
I mean, it looks like that's great position. Just didn't really know where he was there. You know, he thought he was going to go to the other side of the basket and realized that I'm not getting there.
Second foul on Casey Wilson. And now here's Nolan at the line. Just his 6th free throw attempt of the year. It's now 3 out of 6. You can get the fastest scores and updates for UCF, UConn, and all teams with the CBS Sports app. The fastest app for sports fans. Download the CBS Sports app now. Nolan 1 out of 2. Facey trying to keep it alive. He can't. McBride comes away with it. Donnie Jones calling out a play from the UCF bench. Taylor nowhere to go. Good defense by UConn. Now McBride inside. And a foul is called on UConn. And that's going to go against Philip Nolan.
I'm telling you what, Andrew, this McBride has unbelievable hands, and he's got very good footwork. If he really works at it and wants to be a player, he can be a good player. But this guy's going to have to be really dedicated from a nutrition standpoint, getting his win, getting off those pounds. I'm telling you, he could be a good player.
All you need to do is look at the Bethune-Cookman game. 31 points in 22 minutes. So
I can see it.
He's capable of lighting it up. Walker for 3. It's good. A big shot by UCF, and again, still just hanging around. It's an 8-point game. They need to get Taylor going a little bit more. He's been quiet in this second half.
He's been very quiet.
Purvis short. Taylor has just 1 point in this second half. Here's Taylor. Nowhere to go, finds McBride. No touch, gets it back, blocked by Nolan. 3-on-2 for UConn if they hurry. Purvis drives, and he's fouled. Attacking Daquan Walker.
UConn is just so much better when they get out in transition. That's a very nice block there. Nolan.
Fifth block tonight for UConn. As Purvis can't get the first one to fall. Substitution as Brandon Goodwin hops off the bench for Donnie Jones. And B.J. Taylor will get a breather.
Yeah, B.J. Taylor's been struggling a little bit. I think that's a good sub. I know McBride's got vice grip hands.
He's one rebound shy of a double-double. He's got 11 points and 9 boards. Sam Cassell runs into the screen set by McBride, and Walker knocks down the 2.
I've been very impressed with Walker, too, coming off the bench. Donnie Jones told us he's not really a sub. He's a starter, but he's got more experience.
6-point game. Boatwright. Oh, tough shot. They needed that one. Wow.
Talk about creating some space. That step back, you can't stop that.
Boatwright nearly went to the NBA in the offseason as Goodwin answers, but he wanted to come back and be the guy, be the senior leader. And when UConn needs big buckets, he wants them to count on him, and he delivered a big one there. But the answer by UCF, it's back to a 6-point game. Boatwright again, swatted away. And now Walker in transition. Walker, had it stolen by Hamilton. Great anticipation. Now numbers for UConn. Hamilton, I don't know if Kevin Ollie likes that shot, but Hamilton gets it back. And now a timeout is called by UConn.
That was a big one there. You talk about a guy making the right decision. Well, that was the wrong decision in transition that time. It was a very nice play, though, by Hamilton, who leaves. What happened there, Walker's got to take that ball in a little bit more until that defender commits himself. He gave up that ball too early. Those are the plays Boatwright was not making in transition for UConn.
Well, don't miss the world's best riders saddle up and take their shot at bull riding glory in the PBR Built Ford Tough Series Express Employment Invitational. It's Saturday at 10 Eastern, only on CBS Sports Network. So the Huskies by 6, 7:08 to play.
This is one of those games where UCF could steal the game. And if that were to happen, it's a game where Kevin Ollie will say, how did we lose that game? And Donnie Jones would say, how did we win that game? But right now, that still could happen.
Well, the momentum is in UCF's corner right now. How does Kevin Ollie's team stem the tide?
You know, they've got to start really picking it up on the defensive end. I think they let McBride, even though he's struggled at times, they're letting the big guys catch the ball way too easy in the post. Bryman's got to be a little more active, start fronting people, and they got to pick up the defensive intensity.
Chance of Let's Go Huskies from the sellout crowd here at Gamble Pavilion. Third sellout this year for UConn. Boatwright is fouled. Blair picks it up, and that's number 4 on Stephon Blair. Timeout on the floor. It's a tight one here in Storrs, Connecticut. Welcome back to Gamble Pavilion. A look at our AT&T game summary. 11 threes for UConn, 18 assists for the Huskies. However, Central Florida is on a 10-3 run. They've made it a 6-point game, Coach.
Well, the big thing for them is they've been able to outscore UConn at the free throw line. But right now, they're starting to make shots again. And UConn also fell into this kind of defensive lull the last 5 minutes of the first half. So they've got to start picking up their intensity again. And that's what Kevin Ollie wants to see this team do. He talked about it to us today. 40 minutes. Right now, UConn today hasn't been a 40-minute team on the defensive end.
Huskies have just one field goal in the last 7 minutes as we go over to John Rothstein.
Well, guys, Donnie Jones spent 11 years as an assistant coach at Florida under Billy Donovan, and one of the things that Billy Donovan always stressed on a regular basis, study the minds of your players and make sure that they're in the right mental state. No doubt Donnie Jones took that with him as a head coach, and that's something that's definitely proving its worth tonight. Central Florida very mentally tough throughout this game, only down 6 with 6:48 to play.
They played a couple of overtime games this year. They've won at Houston in overtime, won a triple OT game against Tulane. This team has been tested. As we've discussed throughout the night, they're young, and this is all valuable experience going forward for this program.
You know, you're going into some tough places to play. You have young kids. So even today, and I don't know how this is going to end up, it's been a positive, the fact they've been able to hang in there with UConn really having a three-point assault.
Boatwright makes the front end. It's 57-50. Boatwright has 15 points. Right on his average for the season. He leads the team, and he's #1 in the conference. A little bit of pressure here from the Huskies. Enriquez gets rid of it from the corner. 10 to shoot for UCF. Goodwin. Right on Samuel. Goodwin, scoop shot, no. Wilson fighting for it. Back out to Enriquez. And a fresh shot clock. He's not going to use it, but he can't make the three, and Hamilton corrals the rebound.
One of the best three-point shooters in the league got a good shot there, and after a long possession like that, a score would have really helped.
It's the 7th rebound of the night for Daniel Hamilton. And now time is on UConn's side, inside 6 minutes to go. Boatwright. Nice dish to Brima.
I mean, Brima dunks all night. That's all he's been doing is dunking.
7th assist for Ryan Boatwright. His career high is 9. Back up to double digits.
They picked up their defensive intensity here.
We sure have. Nowhere to go, but a foul with 7 seconds on the shot clock as we go back to that last feed from Boatwright to Brima.
Well, Ryan Boatwright makes a great move with that crossover. He gets into the lane. This is one quick move, let me tell you. And then the help comes for a second, but Enriquez has to help them out. It is a 7-foot guy. I don't know what Enriquez could have done if he rotated down there anyway, but they're just staying too long on these hedges.
Taylor, big three. His first field goal of the second half. And it's 60-53. Foul down low. That's going to go against UCF. And McBride, and that's his 4th. So both their big men, Blair and McBride, with 4 fouls apiece. And UConn shooting 2 the rest of the way. Brima at the line. One of Brima's big breakout performances last year as a freshman came against UCF. Last January 11th, 20 points, 8 rebounds. He was 8 of 10 from the floor. Wasn't much of a scorer last year. He's still not there, but we've seen a lot of strides from last year to this year.
Yeah, I mean, in some of the games I saw on tape, he had made more offensive moves. Tonight, he hasn't made any offensive moves. It's been all about lobs and dunks, which is fine, but you got to develop a low post game so they can go to you.
But the biggest thing for UConn right now is that Brima's on the floor. That's been his problem all year. He's always in foul trouble. Here we are, 4.5 minutes to go. He's out there blocking shots. That's exactly why they need him on the floor. Taylor trying for another three off the mark, and Samuel flies in for the board. Samuel not going to slow it down. Boatwright for three. Brima skies for the board, right to Facey. Up with it. No good.
Oh, a couple good opportunities there.
Could have opened up a 10-point lead. Instead, it stays at 8, inside 4 to go. They feed McBride. The big man down low has not had the touch in this second half, but a foul on UConn on the floor. 3:49 to go. Brima not in foul trouble tonight.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Buick. 5 expectation-shattering models. Another reason to experience the new Buick. By AT&T. Mobilizing your world. And by Red Lobster. Come in today and see food differently.
Thursday tip-off presented by Buick. UConn leads 61-53 with 3:49 to play as we take a look at tonight's Buick player of the game, and it's Ryan Boatwright. 16 points, yeah, that's been great, but also the 7 assists, Coach.
You know, for them to be good and finish the year the way they want to, he has to be what everybody thought he was going to be. And he was good through the first part of the year, but they need him to be great because he is capable of it. He's a terrific three-point shooter. He's one of the best in the country at being able to go off the dribble, both to create a shot for himself or to create a shot for somebody else, as you see here with that lob to Amita Brima. So Ryan Boatwright, the way UConn goes is going to have a lot to do with the way he goes, especially because this UConn team is rather inexperienced.
And to his credit, he came out yesterday after practice and said, I'm putting it on my shoulders to get this team back to its winning ways. He's a senior leader. He wants that pressure and that challenge, and he's led the way tonight for UConn. But still some work to do. An 8-point game. Enriquez catch and shoot. Money. A 5-point game.
Wow. Now, he was quiet the whole first half. He was like non-existent. This kid can shoot. He's one of the best three-point shooters in the conference.
Just his second field goal of the night. Both from deep. It's 61-56. Purvis hops off the bench for UConn. He'll check in next whistle. Boatwright, the senior leader, for 2. Boatwright's been doubled a lot tonight, but not that time.
Boy, and there was no help that time at all. I mean, he just blew by his man and ran into no one.
Enriquez again catch and shoot. In and out to Samuel for UConn. And now let's see if they slow things down a bit. Remember, UConn is shooting 2 the rest of the way.
Yeah, I mean, up 7 right now. You got to keep playing. You got to get a good shot, and there's no reason to foul. You got plenty of time to win a three-point shot.
Hamilton spinning and passing to Brima. Brima's got 14 points. Brima got a hand on that one, but I think before the shot, a foul was called. But Brima has had a big night here for the Huskies.
Well, look at underneath the basket. There's nobody there to help. Nobody sees the ball to be able to step in there. And then here Hamilton goes, and McBride isn't sure where Brima is. You got to see your man at all times. And McBride turned his head, looked at the ball, lost Brima behind him. They've thrown that at least 5 times. He's got almost all his points on lob dunks.
Two minutes to play. UCF with 3 timeouts remaining. UConn has 2.
Boatwright is the crossover king. He has a killer crossover.
All of the UConn students are on their feet. They're waiting to explode with one more field goal. They feel like it could be the dagger. 5 to shoot. Purvis, reverse lay-in.
It's always a backbreaker when you hold the ball till the end of the shot clock and end up with a layup.
Great anticipation again by Hamilton for the steal. And he's going to hold it wisely.
Well, you got to foul now. If you want to try and still win this game, you have to foul.
Donnie Jones is thinking about it.
You got to foul. Foul and think later.
Not fouling.
His fouling now is ridiculous.
They don't foul. Boatwright drives and misses. He was looking for a foul. And it's UCF basketball. Walker took his eye off the ball, turned it over, and a foul is called. Walker picked his head up and coughed it up.
Well, great job here. That pass fake is really what set up that backdoor cut that you'll see there by Purvis. A good cut and a good pass.
11 turnovers by UCF tonight. And now Purvis at the line where he has struggled this year, just 53%. And in conference play, Purvis is 4 out of 14. Coming up next, the road to the Final Four continues on CBS Sports Network as sophomore guard Cameron Payne and the Murray State Racers take on junior forward Chris Oliver and the Eastern Illinois Panthers, only on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. McBride to the bench. Second free throw, no good. Goodwin one-on-one with Hamilton. Goodwin lost it. Turnover number 12.
3 straight turnovers by UCF. They've been doing a decent job the whole game, even though UConn had a lot of points off their turnovers and had a whole lot of them.
And Donnie Jones is not fouling. UConn will stop a 2-game losing streak. They'll go to 3-2 in conference play. Meanwhile, UCF now 1-5 on the road with this young team. And they fall to 2-5 in the American. Purvis, no good. Final 10 seconds. Enriquez for 3. They needed more of that tonight. And that'll do it at Gamble, a 67-60 win for UConn. Ryan Boatwright with a big night, 18 points and 7 assists for Kevin Ollie's team. He wanted his senior leader to step up, and he did just that. UConn is now 6-1 all-time against UCF.
Well, I think the big thing that Kevin Ollie get out of this is he was looking to get more points off their defense. They got 18 points off the 11 turnovers they forced. Not a lot of turnovers, but they got 18 points off the 11, which is good.
We have more to come from Gamble Pavilion. Once again, the final score, UConn 67, UCF 60. We're back in a moment. UConn picks up its 10th win of the year. They improved to 10-7 with a 67-60 win over UCF on our Thursday tip-off presented by Buick. And right now, John Rothstein is with Kevin Ollie.
All right, well, Kevin, an outstanding victory tonight. You said it's shoot-around that you wanted to get back to playing UConn basketball. How do you think your team responded at home?
We played well. We got up 18 with 5 minutes to go. I didn't like how we ended the half, but we responded the second half. I love the ball movement. High in assists for the season with 21, 8 turnovers. That was one of our goals, to get 10 turnovers or less. And we shot the ball very, very well, making 11 threes. But we got to clean up some small areas in our defense. We got to get back. But holding this team to 60 points when they was averaging 75 in the league is pretty damn good.
You got a real big offensive lift early from Omar Calhoun. How is the dynamic of your team different now with he in the starting lineup and Rodney Purvis coming off the bench?
I mean, it gives us a different look. Omar spreads the court for us. Rodney comes in and do certain things on the court, bringing us that toughness and that speed in the transition. And then Boatwright did a great job getting us off to a good start, too. Just putting all pressure. We got a lot of steals early. We extended our defense, and that's what we need to do these last 13 games.
You said when I was up in a practice in October that you wanted your team to fall in love with the process and that you didn't want the crumbs, you wanted the cake. How do you still adopt that same philosophy moving forward 17 games into the season?
I mean, you just got to keep battling. I mean, that's what it's all about in life. You know, you have some ups, you have some downs, but you got to stay together as brothers, and I think these guys are doing that. It's got to start from the top with Ryan and Amita, our captains, just keeping everybody together and focus on one goal. We want to be single-minded, and that's single-minded, UConn winning and we winning together.
Kevin, great to see you. Great win. All right, Ryan.
Thanks, man.
Now you look at the situation here. Your team made an unbelievable amount of three-pointers early, a season record. Moving forward, what do you think is the biggest thing you and your teammates need to improve on in conference play?
We got to get better on the defensive end, man, and we gotta corral rebounds. You know, anytime we can hold the team to one possession and like playing 2-3 possessions at a time on defense, it gets tiring. So as long as we could stop somebody on the defensive end and rebound the ball and get out in transition, you know, that's our strength. We got good athletes and we fast, so that's what we got to do.
For you personally this year, you're the elder statesman of this basketball team. How is the role different compared to what you went through a year ago?
It just consists of a lot more than I had to do last year. I shared that role with Shabazz last year, and you know, he took a lot of pressure off of me, and I took a lot of pressure off of him. This year, I'm really the dominating ball handler. You know, my win got to be a little better. I got to get in shape a little more. Because I got the ball in my hand 90% of the time, and I just got to facilitate a lot more than I had to last year. So it's just a little different, but you know, I'm taking the challenge, and we got to keep rolling.
Congrats on a great win. Best of luck the rest of the season. Andrew?
All right, Sean, thank you very much. Boatwright with 18 points to lead all scorers. We've got more to come from Gamble right after this on CBS Sports Network. Once again, the final score from Gamble Pavilion, UConn, a 67-60 win over UCF on our Thursday tip-off presented by Buick. As we take a look at the updated standings in the American, Tulsa at 6-0, and there you see UConn middle of the pack, 3-2 in league play.
Look, they still have time to do this thing the right way, the way they want to, because they have a decent RPI, but they've got to keep winning, and they got to knock out some of those top teams.
And don't forget, the AAC tournament this year is in Hartford on UConn's home floor. That'll certainly help the Huskies going forward. As they get the win, they are now 3-2 in conference play. That'll do it from Gamble Pavilion, a sellout crowd here. For Steve Lapis, John Rothstein, our entire crew, I'm Andrew Catalan. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Do not go anywhere. We've got more hoops. Right now, we send you out to Murray State at Eastern Illinois. John Sadak and Chris Walker. Guys, take it away.